Okay.
Got it.
I am here with Zen Wellness Mama. All right, let's let these folks in the room.
All right.
Glad to be in the service. Come
Yeah.
on, y'all. Come on in this room. Come on in this room. Hey, I get to see Christian twice in 1 week.
Mhm.
Yes. Hey, Miss Sharon. Yes. There's Sharon and Cassandra. It's so good to see you.
Same here.
Hi.
To see you all too.
Sandra. This is such a blessing. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. It is good to see y'all. We're gonna let folks here come. More folks coming in the room. So excited to have you all join us. I want to let everyone know I am recording from the very beginning. And if by any chance you notice that the recording goes off, feel free to say anything to me. This is a community project. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. It is good to see you. Yes. I am so excited to be here with my sis, the most beautiful spirit that I got to meet in the bathroom because it was divine. And that's where I feel like you meet most of the amazing people in real life, of course, since we've met so many amazing people on Zoom. But I got to meet this wonderful soul in New Orleans last year. We have been in a community together in a book club, and some of you who are here are with us in ATR's book club. And we had an immediate, I feel like it was immediate kindred sister mama connection in our own mothering. But honestly, it was like magic that we started talking, I feel like, about remothering and like
Instantly.
almost immediately. Which I think how you know how you find your people.
Yeah.
When you can just go there and have that immediate connection around the vision for who you want to be, who you are in this world, and what healing journey you have been on in the relationships with yourself, relationships with your beloveds, with your partners, with your kinfolk, and as a mama with that next generation and the hopes that we have for the free futures of those that have chosen us, those souls and spirits that chose us. And I'm really grateful because I'm here with Christine, and I would love to just welcome Christine, the wellness mama, to come on in and share a little bit about yourself, my sister.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. And that's the realest thing ever. Just you meet the realest people sometimes in the bathroom. In the bathroom. Oh my goodness. And it was an instant connection when I met you, Erin. I felt like we were sisters from another lifetime or and yeah, the conversations got deep and I'm so excited to be with you all here today. It's such an honor, such a pleasure to see all of your beautiful faces. I am Christine. I am known as the Zen Wellness Mama on the internet streets, and I am the creator of Zen Wellness Space. Zen Wellness Space. Zen Wellness Space was actually founded exactly 1 year and 1 day after my daughter was born. And it came about because I was a new mom. I had moved from one Washington to another, coming from Washington, D.C., traveling over to Seattle, Washington. And after 2 years of trying to conceive, I got to Washington, conceived my first child, and unfortunately lost her. But my rainbow baby Peace came actually a couple weeks later, or was conceived a couple of weeks later. I really didn't have a cycle between then. And being in a new state, being in a new city, I lost myself and I suffered through some postpartum depression. And it wasn't until my childhood best friend kind of introduced me to yoga. yoga, and I started on my yoga journey and my wellness journey. And after that, I just really felt like I needed to share this with the world. At the time, it was 2018, and at the time, or 2017, excuse me, there were really no Black mothers really in the wellness space. I just saw white women, doing yoga and all of these things. And I felt like we were really misrepresented. And I really wanted to create a space for Black mothers to come together to explore wellness together and what it means to be and feel well. And that's when Zen Wellness Space was created, exactly 1 year and one day after my daughter's birthday. And so that's what led me to Zen Wellness Space and to be the Zen Wellness Mama. And it's really my mission and my goal as the Zen Wellness Mama to be a safe place to land for those going through life's transitions. I call myself like the oracle of hope, love, joy, and equanimity. And I really want those that enter my Zen wellness space to really feel that and to step into their own sovereignty. And I do this. I am uh, Gemini sun, Virgo moon and rising with a 3/6 manifesting generator human design profile. And so, with that being said, if you know a little bit about any of that, I really want to be of service to people. And I do this by communicating and sharing my lived experience in hopes to inspire others and to tap into their own sovereignty, to tap into their own ancient wisdom that's really within their DNA. And so through astrology, through human design, through numerology, through ancient wisdom, it's my goal to empower people to tap into some of these modalities to really empower them to step into their sovereignty and live their authentic cosmic blueprint.
Ooh, authentic cosmic blueprint. We are often dropping these words, right? We drop some big words, we drop some intergalactic words in our space. And I just want to thank you, Christine, because I think that like instantaneous spirit connection that we had in the bathroom was very much those threads of that cosmic awareness. Like I felt you. I felt you as a mama, and I felt you as a safe place for my vulnerability. And as a mama who also experienced some pretty intense postpartum depression. I mean, they gave me all the labels, right? Postpartum depression, trauma, OCD, and also I had a dream to dream this child into the world. And I think that a lot of the drive was around this perfect idea of what I thought bringing a free Black child into the world should be, and how I should, you hear all these shoulds, right? How I should be making that possible, how I control all of those dynamics. And then when my child, even how she came into this world was on her terms. She was like, you think I'm upside down? I'm right side up. I don't know what this breach is. I'm coming to the world how I'm supposed to be. This is how I grew in your body. And everything that you've tried to do to control the outcomes of how I come into this world are about you and control. And, I think some of y'all have shared this with you. I was doing hypnosis when I was pregnant with Maya, and when I was trying to get her to flip, because I was doing headstands in the pool and I was putting my whole body up on a ironing board, slanted sideways. They're called spinning babies. They have video. I did all the things, the chiropractor, the acupuncture. And when I connected with her subconscious in the hypnosis, they tell you to ask the question, why are you breech? And I had internalized all these messages that I had done something or sent some message to her that said, it's not safe to come into this world. And all she said was, you need to let go of control. And I was like, damn. You too. That was that cosmic message, right? That was my child uh, in that realm between the birthing, in that realm where I know our people, my ancestors in spirit, have sent her. And she's been teaching me every single day. That's what she does. And again, if y'all know Maya, there is no adult child. She's like, you won't learn today. But I think when I resonated so deeply with Christine in the bathroom, I recognized the opportunity to surrender. I recognized there was another mother who had found this beautiful connection with spirit, to tap into a resource that allowed her to, and series of resources, right? That allowed her to remember. And I would love for you to talk a little bit, sis, about your spiritual journey as well, right? As a part of your intuitive practice, your intuitive wellness practice, the knowing that you trust in your body that comes from your connection with the divine and with spirit, about how to care for your body and how to love yourself from yourself. And when we had that connection, and you started to talk about, you were talking about astrology, and you use that language, I still don't know the human design language. People be like, I'm 3, 6, 5, 7, 8. And I'm like, yes, what does that mean? But when you give me the description, and I've done a little bit, right, a preliminary understanding of my human design, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And the alignment that it also has with astrology, and what I have been learning on my own journey in studying the skies and stars. And I consider myself a newbie, even though I've been in it probably for about a year. But I guess I listen to 5 different astrologers a week. So I call I'm like, I don't know, I'm somewhere in the novice world, right? But really how you have been able to use these spiritual tools and resources to enhance your capacity to tap into your intuition, to trust yourself and your body, and allow that to provide a container for your self-healing journey. And that's rippled out into the world, because everyone who comes in contact with you gets to experience that. So I want to thank you for saying yes to the invitation. And what we would like to do, again, we're having a conversation, y'all. So
yeah, and and thank you so much for all of that you shared. And I love that people are putting their profiles in there in the chat here. And my 3 5s, are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? I know y'all exhausted. And just to speak a little bit of that, and just my journey getting here, that's it, like that 3-line in human design. And human design is basically a modality that uses astrology, I Ching, the gene keys. And so I think of it like the HD version of human design. And the 3 profile in human design is really the trial and error phase. So the trial and error phase, along with the heroic or the hero, it's just like you're trialing and erroring. And for me, I'm a 3-6, and the 6 is the role model phase. So from my trial and error, and from all the different things and the different modalities that I have learned, I'm able to share that back with the collective and share my experience. And that's why in my mission statement, it's really, I dedicate my life to kind of sharing my journey so that others can see and just see how it's helped me so much in my life and helped me align. And with my, because I really feel like these different jargons or terms, or these planetary alignments, are really like cheat codes to our superpowers. And, it's my superpowers as a Virgo moon. And I saw some other Virgo moons out there to really tap into the details and to put things together in a really organized way that people can really understand. And being so Mercury ruled, I'm constantly wanting to communicate that to people and share this knowledge and gain knowledge and to put that back out. And so it's just a beautiful journey, and really wanting, kind of just sharing how understanding some of these, having cosmic awareness can really, really, really heighten you into the cheat code in life, and really have your authentic blueprint shine versus the conditioning that the world likes to put us in, like a box like to put us in, like our poor projector kids, or our poor Pisces kids, they're tuning in from so much around them, right? And they're feeling that, and they're so empathetic, and they got to be in a classroom for 8 hours when all they really need is 3 hours, to get that information in order to, and then the rest of the time needs to be in rest and research and doing what they need to do. So just knowing that and understanding that gives us not only grace for ourselves, but grace for other people, and in our family line, and for those to come, as well. And so, yeah, I get fired up about this stuff.
I want to say, Christine, you named a few things, and as a Pisces moon, I just want to say thank you. And I wish you were with me in all of K-12 school, and likely through graduate school, because I didn't know those things, and often receive the messages of, Erin, stop being so dramatic, or too much. You're too much. This energy is too much, or that's a lot of emotion. And so the grace and the tenderness, I'm also a Cancer rising. And so this, I think it'd be important for us to kind of talk about sort of what this means for those who are maybe completely brand new to astrology. And I
Yeah.
think, I know for me, before I really engaged with astrology as a spiritual guidance tool, and as I think, as you shared so brilliantly, Christine, as a coach, as someone who holds spaces for people's transformation and their liberation to be able to connect with astrology as a tool, and to challenge the ways in which colonization has separated us and disconnected us from astrology as an ancient and original wisdom that guided the farmers, that guided our
Exactly.
ancestors in every way. And so I wonder if we could maybe talk a little bit about the big three,
Mhm.
um, and then maybe we can get into some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you exactly that. Astrology is an ancient practice before the Greeks took it over, before what we know as astrology now. Our ancestors were looking at the stars, like you said, to know when to plant certain seeds, to know when to reap the crops for certain seeds. Um, to know when we're ovulating, to know when we need to retreat and to bleed, and to really gain some of that intuitive insights. So there's so many different, this is an ancient practice, It came from us, okay? And it's just that remembrance. It's that remembrance. And I love, 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 love. And I'm starting to learn, or starting to study with African astrologers. And I know Shishetta, who's in here, the Komets, and it was stolen. Napoleon came and really took the ancient Egyptian practices and stole that from us. And so it's just this cycle of remembrance, And so, yeah, the big three, astrology. So if people say, what's astrology? Most people know their sun sign, right? Your sun sign, and which is not surprising because that's how you shine. The sun is like, the illuminating in the sky. And so and the reason why a lot of people are familiar with their sun sign is because when astrology was popularized, horoscopes rolled into the newspapers, and the astrologers wrote horoscopes based on, you know, the collective sun signs, but actually the cheat code when looking at horoscopes is to really look at your rising sign. So the rising sign will really tell you. So based on your rising sign will really tell you what's going on personally in your life right now. But of course, the sun sign has that essence as well, and along with your moon sign. So you can really go into each and every planetary body or luminary and look at different horoscopes based on that. So if your Venus is in Leo, for example, you can look up at the Leo horoscopes to tell you what you might be valuing around this time, or what might come up in relationships for you in this area of life. And if you're looking at the horoscope from your moon sign, and that's, you know, your emotions and your nurturing, your nature, and your sun is, you know, how you shine. And so yeah, so the sun is basically who you are. It's a luminary. It is the key, kind of like the key point to astrology for a lot of people. And like for me, I'm a Gemini sign. I'm a Gemini sun. And so that's the way that I shine, right? But the people who really know me by my moon sign, and I am a Virgo moon, and your moon sign is really what you need. That's like that deeper essence, like your emotional nature, how you care for yourself, your self-care prescription, your inner world, your inner child, how we come home to ourselves. And then your rising sign is it's an actual angle of where, and this you'll need your birth time to understand your rising sign. And that's where the sun was on the horizon. So that's where the sun was rising to. So that's what we're rising to in this lifetime. And a lot of people say, you know, you don't really feel the essence of your rising sign until after your Saturn return, because that's when, you know, you really kind of evolve a little bit. And then what you're rising to in this lifetime is you're stepping into your rising sign.
So can I
So
talk for a second,
yeah,
Christine? Because
please,
I feel like, so just for everyone here, this is really great because we're talking about a lot of the elements of astrology. And I think that what we'll find is that we could spend the whole entire conversation on like an astrology 101, and there isn't even an astrology 101 because there are also like different lineages of astrology. So I'm wondering, Christine, even as you were talking about the sun sign, the moon sign, and the rising sign, we can share links for you all to go deeper around understanding the deeper meaning around each sign. If you received the email that we shared recently from Cosmic Summer School from Maddie Murphy. This is a podcast that Christine and I both, and Christine has actually worked with Maddie Murphy. So this is one astrologer. There's also a book that I highly recommend. I have it over here, y'all. That we've been reading in book club called Signs and Sky Mates.
love it.
And I'm gonna drop the link in as well. So you don't have to take a picture, my sis. You can take a picture, but I'm gonna make sure you all get this. This is a tome. This is a big ass book. But when I tell you that this is a sister from Sierra Leone who is an astrologer who's really done a lot of research and made a lot of the very brought the context that Christine is talking about, right? The African origins of astrology, and brought that to light, and also made clear connections between the orishas of the Yoruba traditions and the various signs, the planets. So I think that this will be a really helpful, not only the planets, but also the luminaries. So this is also a great resource.
Asteroids too are in there, which are my fave.
Say that again.
Asteroids are in there as well.
Asteroids. See, and this is the thing, right? Like there's so much that we could dig into, and if we want to, we obviously, this is a beginning conversation. So I also want, for anyone who's like, I want to learn, I got to learn it all right now, you're good. And we can also slow down, because we'll nerd out, and which is great. And also we want to make sure that we are, I think, breaking down pieces that we both know come from just a lot of research, and for me it's just a lot of listening and reading. And so I wonder what we can do is if we can track the questions, because I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes to working with asteroids, and then I'm also seeing the question, what is the importance of asteroids? So I would love it, Christine, even if you just want to share what jumping out. Thank you, Patrice.
Yeah, asteroids are my fave. And so what I love about her book is that she takes the celestial bodies and the planets and shifts it into Yoruba. And I am a voodooisant. And so I practice Haitian voodoo. And that's kind of the journey that I'm on right now, is associating the different planets, the asteroids with different loa. And I'm exploring and tapping into that. And the asteroids are really like Greek goddesses that they say. So Juno, Pallas Athena, Vesta, Chiron is also an asteroid. And so there are these asteroids, and they basically are just like planets. So based on their house position and the sign they're in, they can tell you additional information that you need to know. And I love the goddess asteroids because they're just so super empowering. Like Juno, like her story, Juno was married to Jupiter, and Jupiter was always out here on the streets, jolly and spreading his love and seed all over the place. But Juno was the devoted, wife, the long devoted wife. And, and that tells a story, and that's related to Rolling Stone urine. That's relating to, how we show up in devotions to our relationships or to our marriage. So that can tell you that. Chiron was the wounded healer. And, from the wound that he had, from always trying to heal that wound, and all of the knowledge that he gained trying to heal that wound, now he's able to come back and share healing medicine with the collective. So we can look to the Chiron, where Chiron is in the certain house, in the certain sign, to tell us how not only we can heal, but how we can help heal others. Another one that
pause on this one. I gotta pause on.
Chiron is there too. We could spend all day on Chiron if we want.
Spend all day. I think especially for the folks who are in this community, right, and who either have been with us in Black Mama Body spaces, or have been with us in Deep Medicine Study Circle, which is a Black Mama Body space. The relationship that I've had in terms of with my Chiron journey has really guided me in dreaming and I would say embodying my own healing transformation story, and that being that birthing this community, that birthing the work that has been coming forth. You know this. That. And so that is something that I have very much been wanting to share in community, over the last 3 years, I think, recognizing that, in looking at my relationship with my own Chiron story, right? And Chiron was a teacher. So Chiron was always a teacher, as Christine was saying. And he actually was injured. And the injury that he received in Greek mythology was one that would never heal. And so for those of us who have been doing the work around any form of trauma and the embodiment of generational trauma, racialized trauma, any form of historical and intergenerational wounds that we have been tending to, those of us who have been working with chronic pain and autoimmune disease, when we recognize that from those wounds that seem like they will never heal, we have the ability to transmute that pain into possibility. Doesn't mean that we are saying, oh, this pain doesn't exist, that we're ignoring it, that we're able to shift our relationship with the pain, with the wounds, shift our identification with the wound as if I am the wound rather than this is a wound that exists that I am able to witness and tend to. And so that has been a huge part of my own healing journey. And as I started to work with and understand my Chiron placement, which my Chiron placement is in Taurus, in the 11th house. I gotta go to the Channing app always to confirm the house. But you know, and that for me has really helped guide me in engaging in healing practices, right? Again, astrology is not like the weather. So I'm not reading it to tell me what to do or how to be, or that it is predictive, but to understand that that the way that the stars were aligned in the sky when I was born do provide me with some guidance. And so it is in the 11th house. And so we won't go all the way into the technical parts of that. You all can like nerd out and we can come back and have more conversations about what we're learning about the houses. But I think what is important here is that my ongoing wounded healer journey, my transformational journey of remothering, reparenting myself is in fact the healing that I am to bring forth into the world. It had to come through me. So I had to go through, right? Can't go under it, can't go around it, must go through. And the divine support that I have and the communal support that I have is a part of how I work with my Chiron placement. So I just wanted to share that. And sis, I would love it if there's anything that's emerging for you. And I feel like this is maybe something we want to share and see if folks in the group have anything they want to lift up.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for sharing that, Erin, because when you shared your birth information with me and I was able to pull your chart, I'm like, oh, duh. Like, I see that. Like, your community, like your stellium in the 11th house. How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It's like
7.
7. Oh, it's 7. I didn't even know it's 7 in the 11th house. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all can you tell them what the 11th house is so they understand?
So the 11th house is all about like your community, you know, your friends, your social networks, you know, your support systems. It's got that Aquarius essence to it. So that kind of like higher perspective, looking down on things and really being innovative. So in community and in Taurus, you know, that long longevity and stability and really being a grounded force and providing beautiful, stable spaces for communities. Black Mama Money, what you're doing here. And so it's just really, 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 really beautiful to see. And then it's you also have your sun in the 11th house too. So that's how you shine in community. Your Mars is in the 11th house. So your community drives you. Your par of fortune is in the 11th house. So you can receive fortune from being in community and showing up in community and by healing your community, because not only your par of fortune is in the 11th house, it's actually conjunct with your Chiron. So from your healing, and when I say conjunct, that means like the planets are like just really, really right next to each other. So they're really speaking to each other. They really vibe with each other, and they're using each other's gifts to help each other shine. And so you just sharing your healing journey and with the collective is really a fortune, not only to you, but to the collective as well. And so those are just some of the things that I'm seeing here. Just like, yeah, powerful, powerful 11th house here. And it's also intercept with Gemini because I use the Placidus system. So there's definitely, when you dibble dabble into astrology, you'll see that you can pull up the whole sign system, which basically means that each house is aligned with one sign. But in the and that's what I used when I started my astrology journey. So now that I've gone a little bit deeper, I really resonate with both, to be honest. I resonate with whole sign and Placidus. So depending on which kind of chart you pull, you might see that your sun is in the 10th house, and then in whole sign, and then you'll see that your sun is in the 9th house in Placidus. So for me, that's how it shows up for me. So for me, yeah, I definitely feel that energy of, the way that I shine is going to be part of my legacy, part of my career. I see that Gemini, talking and, communicating and doing all of that. But also in my 9th house, the way I shine is from that philosophy, that spirituality, just really studying and traveling abroad and teaching and sharing knowledge in, different spaces. So I resonate with both, but again, I'm a Gemini, so I can go, and I'm very mutable, so I could go each which way. But if you're a fixed sign, you may like, oh yeah, whole sign is it. That's it. I'm done. I'm good. That Taurus energy, that fixed Earth. I'm good. So yeah, that's just some of the things that came up to me when exploring the 11th house. But opening up the floor for Chiron, and Chiron for me is in Gemini in my 9th house. So for me, my wounding was around spirituality and, my journey of growing up in a Christian household and really kind of wanting to explore, to seek out different philosophies, different, modalities and spiritual tools, and just really wanting to seek that, being a wounding of mine, because, one way, the church is, one way, the only way. But I'm seeing and I'm exploring and I'm resonating with so many different things. And so really, and this, the 9th house is a teacher energy as well. So teaching that spirituality and traveling long distance and doing that, that's a long-term dream of mine, to build a healing retreat in Haiti, to have people come back to remember, the revolutionary country that was able to create the first Black Republic, and so and that Chiron showing up from my own healing of being a Haitian, a first generation Haitian in America, and the demonization and the stigma that came around that's something that I'm moving past and hoping to teach other people to feel inspired by that. And so that's just different ways my Chiron shows up in my chart. But I would love to hear other people have questions, because I can talk, so stop me at any time.
I love it. I love it. Ooh, and yes, we will continue that conversation about the healing in Haiti and a retreat. The Haitian Revolution paved the way for our revolution here, right? And when I say revolution, I am specifically talking about Black rebellion here in the United States. So I'm curious, yes, we have any questions on anything that's come up so far? There's no wrong questions.
Can you tell me what my Chiron means in the Cancer in 12th house?
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah. So Cancer in the 12th house, what that speaks to me intuitively, and I call myself an intuitive astrologer. I really just like to look up a chart and see what really calls to me intuitively. So intuitively, Cancer in the 12th house is really around that mother wound. Cancer is the mama in the zodiac, resonating with the moon, that lunar energy. So there could mean that there was some type of wounding around the mother, and the 12th house speaks to isolation. It's got that Pisces energy around addiction, maybe just really going away, and victimization as well, but healing from some of that. So by going into the cave, you're able to really, it's like also the house of psychology. So really understand maybe some of the mothering wounds that you have, or the nurturing wounds around, in order to really benefit and heal other people in other places. And it's a very intuitive, all of the water signs are very spiritual and very intuitive. Why? Because they connect with the waters, they connect with your emotions. So it's a very emotional place. I feel to have Chiron in, and you feel things very deeply. So those are just some of the things that intuitively speak to me with Cancer in the 12th house.
Thank you. And you were very right about everything you just said. So thank you.
Sending so much love. Lots of nurturing, lots of like self-care, nurturing. Like even this moon might have been impactful, and just so maybe tuning into some of the things that you hear out there and seeing what really resonates. But yeah, water can be healing as well. So yeah, so much
You're
love.
very right. And I feel like I had a conversation with Erin last week where I self-diagnosed myself with something. And so you're right. That's exactly how it operates in my life.
Much love, sis.
I want to send some love out also. And Ayana knows it's always here in abundance for her. And also for us to consider, right, there's a way in which I think when we find this information, it can feel like, oh, this explains why I've always felt this way and there was no way to understand this. Or and we often talk about this in our practice around healing the generational wounds of trauma, knowing there's nothing wrong. We are more than enough and always whole, and that we are not defective. So even in the naming of how either Western psychology or what might name our wounding, how we might be able to see that there's also a way in which our understanding or awareness, placing our experience in context and being able to have the awareness to say, oh, this was here. This has always been here.
And it's the awakening of your gifts as well, because it's a gift. It's the gift that you have to give to the collective. So
when you said that, I mean,
sorry.
no, I want you were like, we're here, because I'm so glad that you said that. And I'd love you to talk more about that, because I had a moment even today, but I know yesterday when was the new moon? Monday. My child, y'all know Maya, and if you don't know Maya now, you know, you'll see her. So, but my child, who doesn't again necessarily know that she's not my mother, and is 4, it is a Cancer moon, right? So her inner world, her emotional world, is governed by the moon. And I forgot this. Like I forgot. She's a Virgo. In my head, she's a Virgo. She's born on Beyonce's birthday. This is what happens when you have to let go of control and have to have a C-section, and they ask you, what day do you want your child to be born? And I was like, what's next Tuesday? Let's do it on Beyonce's birthday. That's when Maya was born. So Maya is a Virgo sun. She is a Scorpio rising, and she is a Cancer moon. And I remember Christine told me this a while back, that it was very important for parents to know their child's moon sign. Because, and I would love for Christine to talk more about this, but I just want to name that as I have been in this experience of reparenting myself, right? Recognizing the ways in which I started to parent my own parents as a child, right? For reaching for safety. This was a protective move for safety, to feel grounded and rooted. And when my emotions as a Cancer rising and a Pisces moon, all this water, were not necessarily paid attention to, because my parents' emotions were not paid attention to, because their parents' emotions were not paid attention to. Pattern? Okay. So that neglect pattern that comes from survival for generations, I recognize that part of my reparenting for me that is happening while I'm simultaneously parenting a 4-year-old who shows up like a 14-year-old and an 80-year-old at the same time, was being activated. My all of the parts of me that feel like I am defective as a parent, or who only know what my parents knew, right? You are a child, I'm an adult, I know better. You don't have any choices. My child tells me what the options are. She tells me, I have this option or this option, mommy, you pick. So I'm confused because I'm trying this new Black mom. I'm trying to be the conscious parent. And I'm also like, I think I would have been hit by now, but I don't do that. And also she doesn't take it seriously. If I were to even try, there would be confusion for all of us. And so I was swirling. And at the same time, healing wounds from my childhood with my parents right now. So I'm creating new boundaries with my parents right now as I am activated around trying to mother my own parents. And so I am reparenting myself. I am reparenting my parents because I'm creating a new relationship with new boundaries that none of us have ever seen before. So it's a little murky. And I have to stand strong in that. And I just cry a lot. And I ask for the places to cry with that. So when that new moon came in Cancer on Monday, I knew I not only was coming in, I was birthing a new me. That's what I was asking for support from God and from Spirit with in this right now time. And also with my child, as she keeps telling me to let go of control and surrender, I needed to understand what does her inner world need right now that she can't communicate to me directly? How can I be more curious rather than reactionary or parenting her from fear? So I'm actively like going to, because I also, you know, the way my brain works, go down all the rabbit holes. So I listen to all of my favorite astrologers talk about the moon sign and what to do with a Cancer moon. So I just wanted to give that context as we talk about the generational healing that is possible just with this knowledge and context. And I thank my sister who gave me even just the insight to say, oh, just go look at her moon sign and maybe that you'll understand what's happening right now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you being a Cancer rising, the moon is your kind of steering force, is your planetary ruler. So not only that, during this Cancer season, you mentioned it being like a rebirth for you. It's traveling through your first house after the journey of the 12th house. And so literally, a lot of people say like the 12th house is like that point when, you know, we're really like that ring of fire, going through the ring of fire, that pain and all of that in order to release this new birth, this new child coming into the world. And so yeah, that's definitely the energy. And the moon sign in astrology, again, is just like, you know, what you need emotionally. How can you nurture that inner child within you? How can you understand yourself a little bit better, emotionally wise, as well as your children? And I took a course with parenting astrology course with Luminary Parenting, and I'm going to see if I can find their page, but they're a great Instagram page to follow because they put moon updates every day. And I love looking at this because the moon as the guiding force, and I love the moon. I am planning on coming out with a course very soon around the moon and how you can use the moon as the cosmic gateway into really using astrology to incorporate into your everyday life, because the moon, I feel like, is the cosmic gateway to that. But the moon, and from what I've learned in parenting astrology, is that the moon is really the way the moon sign of your child is the way that they perceive you. So, for example, for me, my moon is in Virgo, and so I perceived my mom as being, like always of service to other people, always, hardworking, always doing the things, like really just keeping organized. And so that was the way that I perceived my mom. And you said your daughter was a Cancer moon?
Yeah, she's a
She's
Cancer
a
moon.
Cancer
I'm
moon.
a
So I
Pisces.
mean, yeah, your ascendant, that's how, that's how she perceives you, just like really being that nurturing force for the community, very intuitive, safe space to land. So that's really, really, really beautiful. So those are just different ways that we can use the moon sign. And the moon, I really feel like is and then you can go even deeper. So not only your moon sign and where the moon is in your chart. So for you, Erin, the moon is in your ninth house. So again, sharing some of those emotions and being an emotional, safe space to land for the community, 11th house, that we talked about, but teaching, that it's okay to share your emotions and being that, nurturing space for people in regards to their emotions. And so, and Pisces, very intuitive. So you could see that it's so easy for you to teach in a way that's so channeled. And so that's so, tapped into the ancient wisdom. So, and that's just from looking at your moon sign, right now. So the moon sign, and it's a great time. I love working with the moon, with my daughter, she loves the moon as well. So we'll just look at the moon, and you can, start to, if the moon changes signs every 2.5 days or something like that, based on if it's void, of course. So if you want to get the essence of what each of these houses mean for you, if you want to get the essence of what these signs mean, track the moon, because they're changing, and you can really tune into your emotions. Okay, how do I feel emotionally when the moon is in Taurus? Okay, when the moon is in Taurus, I want to cook myself a good meal. I want to light me some candles. I want to be at home and just like really luxurize in all of the beauty and activate all my senses. Maybe I want to go into the garden and put my hands in the soil. If it's a Gemini moon, I want to talk to my friends. I want to get out there in community. Maybe I want to get curious and I want to learn something new. So those are just different ways that you can tap into the moon to help, nurture yourself. And nurturing yourself is reparenting yourself as well. And in those ways.
So I just learned so much whenever you talk, I learned so much. And I'm curious if we want to pause and see what's emerging from our community, from our group, and anything you all either want to share or questions that have come up from what we've talked about, or questions that you have that you brought in to today's conversation. Hey, Cassandra. Oh, yes, my genealogy. Please come on.
Hi. A lot of this is very new to me.
Right.
I used to do charts and I don't remember anything. And I'm so glad you told me how to find out about my rising, because I don't know what time I was born and can't find my birth certificate. But I do know that my moon is in Scorpio, and all I know is that I have a poisonous tail. Could you please, that comes out as my tongue. Could you please give me more information about that?
Absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And if you just a little bit tidbit, because a lot of us don't know the exact time that we were born. So there is a process called rectification, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that's in astrology, but there are certain astrologers that can figure out or calculate your rising sign based on the information. So if you have a day chart, you can kind of see, okay, it might be around this window of time, and then this is what it means. Yes, yeah, I'm not going to say that, but just so FYI on that. And remind me of your question. Was it on the moon and
Right.
moon in Scorpio?
Right. My moon is in Scorpio. Yes.
So moon in Scorpio. So moon in Scorpio, ooh, that to me means Scorpio is a powerhouse. Scorpio is, yes, and I love and Shoshana and I spoke about Scorpio too. So if I can open the floor and if you want to kind of share around Scorpio, because she gave the beautiful analogy, the kind of archetype that's around Scorpio is is like you said, the scorpion, right? And
Yes.
that venom. Excuse me, I'm thinking about Cancer versus the beetle, Shoshana. we were talking about that, but never mind. But yeah, Scorpio is like that powerhouse. It kind of rules like the 8th house of like death and rebirth. So you're really here in transformation. So really transforming. So you feel things really, really deeply, like on a deep core base. And because you feel it so deeply, your emotions might, send out that venom a little bit because you're like, okay, I mean, things need to happen. Things need to change because, I feel it so deeply. So Scorpio is just like super, super, super powerful to me, super intuitive to me. So you might have some, gifts that you are aware of or you might not aware of. And you can really use that not only to nurture yourself, but to help nurture others and using those gifts to help being a safe space to land for others. But yeah, if anybody else has anything to say, yeah, about Scorpio energy. And I remember, and I called out Shoshana because I know you have some prominent Scorpio placements, but she shared some information in the chat as well too, around Scorpio placements. So there's some goodies in the chat to check out.
Thank you. That was positive. I only know negative things about my tongue.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything, again, me, mutable, duality. I really focus on duality with all of these things. Like, a lot of people talk a lot of, I don't know if I can curse on here, shit about Geminis. Geminis and Scorpios get the worst rap in the world, but there's a high octave and then there's a low octave. But a lot of people like to focus, like the world in general, right? They like to focus on the negative, but there's so much power. So taking that power back and reclaiming that Scorpio power, woo, watch out for Cassandra.
Yes, and yes, and yes, and using that, I love it, reclaiming that power. I'm curious, Christine, because right now we are also in the transit of the lunar nodal transit with the North Node in Aries. I'm wearing my great grandmother's Aries ring. She's just been like getting me together.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And the South Node in Libra. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we could talk a little bit about the North Node and South Node as also a part of understanding your healing and transformation journey.
Yes, yes. Oh, Cassandra, you got so many good gems. I love all these Scorpio empowerment. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, absolutely. So the North Node and the South Node. So the North Node and the South Node, and we talked about this, Erin, how it's really the North Node, South Node, and Chiron is really like the trifecta for your soul's desire, because it really is. It really is. Your North Node is kind of what you're striving to be in this time. It's the nodal axis. So the nodal axes are they're axis, right? So they're always going to be opposing each other. So your North Node is kind of what you're striving towards in this lifetime, what your soul's really here to understand and develop and how to move forward. Your North Node can create liberation and freedom for you. Your South Node is, and it could feel uncomfortable for you to lean into, but your South Node is like really what's, familiar to you, what you know. A lot of people say that it's your past life, it can give the essence of your past life. And that path that really, it's like your and the nodes are like what people say is like your karma or your destiny in this time. So knowing that, like what we're striving towards as a collective, so the collective nodes just shifted into Aries and into Libra. So the collective as a whole, we're shifting into Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So Aries is the I am, who am I? You know, the first house, who am I? So as a collective, we're all leaning into as the destiny or the path for the collective, fully each and every one of us understanding who am I and how do I want to show up and how do I want to liberate myself in this time right now. And with the South Node in Libra, Libra is all about relationships and harmonizing and, you know, justice and all of that. And so we're really we're really leasing some of those codependency with other people and having the relationship being the focus, the we being the focus, and we're striving towards the I am. So yes, as a collective, we've, you know, really lean into you know, the relationships really being the focus, like marriage, you know, all of these things and like having that. But no, we're releasing that. Like, who are you in this marriage? How do I want to show up rather than, you know, being conformed into what society says that how I should show up in different relationships. So not only marriage, but all of your relationships, all of your partnerships, you know? So we're releasing some of that as a collective and we're stepping into that Aries, that I am, that warrior spirit. We're fighting for ourselves during this time and during the season. And you could see that pop up in some of the collective and all the revolution and things that are happening, you know, all over all of the world. It's like people are like, no more of conforming into, you know, your society and what you think is just. This is what I think is just, and I'm fighting for that. You know, I'm going to have that Aries warrior spirit to fight for myself, And so that's what I feel like as a collective we're shifting into with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra.
You know, Christine is so powerful when you were naming that. And I was like feeling my hand. I was like, okay, Big Ram, I hear you. Like,
Yeah, I felt that when you showed that ring. Yeah.
Big Ram was very much the I am. Like her hands are always like, well, she would say peace. And she would just walk into the room and everything would go quiet. And she's not a large presence woman, but she was present here. And when I think about my inner world, right, and our inner transformation, right, as we're talking about the collective, right, you're talking about like the nodes that are transiting right now based off of the positioning with the moon. These are the lunar nodes, right? That is for us globally or collectively. And then we have our in our chart, you will have your North Node and your South Node. So, and they're always the signs that are direct opposites of each other. So my North Node is in Leo and my South Node is in, what is it in? Leo and Aquarius? No, Leo, I can't pop that. It is Aquarius. Yes. So what I've come to understand is that part of, as we talked about on this transformational healing journey, that part of my North Node pathway or stepping into my soul's desire, what my soul longs for me to learn in this lifetime, to step into in this lifetime, is to step into my power, to step into, and Ayana and I were talking about this earlier, right? To step into my
on stage, shining bright,
right? Like shine bright, and
courageously.
And I have to go through. I've had to go through a lot of healing in order to feel the inner confidence that I can't get from anyone else but from within here. So when we talk about that South Node, that shedding and when we talk about codependent, right, I do think about like how I there's a wonderful teacher that I like called Victoria Albina, who does some somatic work as well. And she has a podcast called Feminist Wellness. And I've been very much aligned with her work and how we outsource our own validation, how we look for our self-worth outside of our bodies. And so that's part of the lesson that I am to learn in this lifetime and to teach and to share, right? And so the idea that I would be able to source my own sense of worthiness from within, instead of continuing to try to grasp and get it from the external world, means that from here is where I actually am able to project the full confidence in who I am. I am, the I am. So there's a way in which, yes, my friend, yes, thank you, Nancy. And so when I recognized how that was working, because by the way, that works with some really rough waters that you go that I've gone through, right, to come to that place. And we could go into that conversation and go deeper around healing those wounds of codependent thinking, right? Looking outside of myself for validation, looking outside of myself for love, looking outside of myself for worthiness. And then I'm always, y'all notice, I'm always going to take it to put it into the full context, the decolonial context. Why would a Black woman be looking outside of her body to find the value and worth for generations who decided how much our bodies were valued and worth? So the revolutionary act of me sourcing my own sense of worth from within is a part of my liberatory path. So from that place, I'm like, okay, not just words, I still got to do the work, right? So that I can believe it in my body. Because my body will be like, I don't know. But my body very much is like, oh yeah, I know that. I know this. I am. So I wanted to share that as I was sparked by Christine and getting excited, because I know many of you on your journey. And I'm curious what's coming up for anyone in the room as well. And Christine, feel free to like jump in as well. I just wanted to open it up with that story.
If I just want to leave space for anybody if they wanted to share, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, somebody want to share? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead, Adrienne.
I just thank you for all. I am wondering if you can clarify sort of what the like time container is when you speak about the collective north and south nodes, like sort of what that sphere is. And then also as you're speaking and I'm looking at my chart, realizing that my north and south nodes are in line with the collective nodes right now. So I'm curious what you would sort of what you would say about that piece. Thank you.
Yeah. So the nodes shift every 18 months. So every 18 months, we're going to have a nodal shift. And let me just confirm that here. And so with you being aligned, with the nodal shifts, it's like total new rebirth for you. So it's happening in your first house. And so it's a really shedding of, again, just like partnerships and just like relationships at seventh house and heading towards the I am in Aries. So yeah, you're feeling like that's you, baby. Like really just going for your destiny. Like, how do you want to show up in this lifetime? How do you want to show up in this time right now in your Aries way? Aries, being that warrior, being that really fighting for what you believe in and your desires and so whenever you're having like a nodal shifts or the shifts are happening, the eclipses are also going to happen, which are like basically the full and new moons, like times 10, is the energy of the eclipses. So you'll maybe feel this powerfully for you, but yeah, it really happens every 18 months. And these are like karmic lessons as a collective we need to understand, and obviously for us personally as they shift within our chart. So for you, the 1st and 7th house is kind of like the areas of life that it's going to happen for you. And Erin, I know you spoke to, where is it happening for you? I can't remember, but I know for me, it's happening in my 2nd and 8th house. So that's, you know, my values and what I truly value, and my money, what I consider currency is really what I'm heading for and what I'm really striving for during this time, while releasing that 8th house, you know, those power dynamics, other people resources and debts and all of that. That's just like really being released for me, and really the focus of what I value. Okay, yeah, and that speaks to Erin's 2nd and 8th house as well in Leo. So really, how do you show up being on that stage, showing up on that stage with courage based on how you value yourself, and speaking about the things on stage on what you value, and really detaching yourself and shedding, again, other people's collectives and other people's thoughts, other people's resources. You're shedding that, and you're coming in with your own values, your own resources during this lifetime. I hope I answered that question. Did I?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I had a question.
Grace, I see
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. I don't have my chart in front of me. I know that my sun sign is Pisces, and I know that my other two are Cancer and Scorpio, but I don't know if sun and moon or moon and sun. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's moon and rising or so, but someone said to me a couple of weeks ago, water, water, water. That's a lot of water. Like what does that mean for me? Like,
Yeah, so water, I feel, is water in astrology represents emotions into, like, I really think psychic abilities and intuitive gifts. Like I said, because you feel so deeply, you're able to tap into some of those you know, spiritual things that you can only access when you are deep within your emotions and when you feel. So needing to flow, having a lot of flow in your life could be good. And just, again, knowing water signs, and you have a lot of water could be nurturing to you. You could use water in different ways to help nurture you, to help motivate you, to help. So just, you know, you're a mermaid, you know, just being like, you know, that mermaid, that mystical mermaid when I hear water. So in astrology, there's 4 different elements that the planets and the signs represent: water, earth, air, and fire. So your water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Earth is Capricorn, Taurus. I always stumble upon this. I wish I could say it a little faster. Capricorn, Taurus. Shout them out, y'all. I know y'all know this.
So Earth is
Virgo.
Capricorn, Virgo. That's my whole family. That's my
Virgo.
house.
How do I not say Virgo? Virgo. Air signs. Who knows them? Air signs.
Pisces.
Gemini.
Gemini, Aquarius.
Libra.
Libra. Yes, Libra
Libra.
queen. Libra. Fire. Who's fire? Who's fussing? Hi. Leo.
Scorpio.
No.
Aries.
Aries. Sag. Yeah.
Oh,
Sag.
I'm sorry. Scorpio's water. My bad.
It's all
We're
good.
kind of steam. We're in both categories.
I feel like that's
I
right.
feel that too. I feel that
Water.
too. I feel that too. And y'all, if y'all got babies, take them to go see the elements. If you want to understand astrology, start with the elements, start with these water signs. And thank you for this question, Patrice, because this is a great way to get an understanding of that. And Pixar, I think it came out with the movie The Elements. And I loved it so much because you could truly see how the different fire signs come up and how the different water signs come up. And so it's just such a cute movie. And it speaks to how the different elements show up in a chart. So I hope I answered your question. So water to me just means like flowing, really intuitive, just connecting with the water. The water is your guide.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what, Patrice, I want to say, like, as someone who's also a lot of water, and it's interesting because I used to think I was more water just in my knowing of the big three, but as I got to understand more of my chart, I learned actually I do
Hey,
have
with your mama.
more balance.
I love you guys.
More balance, right? When you look at like across your chart, I don't have a lot of fire signs, but I do have earth, water, and air. But I have a 5 Taurus stellium, so this means I have 5 placements in Taurus besides my sun sign. But in my big three, yes, I am mostly water, and there's the nurturing, the mothering, as Christine was talking about. And we've been talking about this a lot in Your Soul's Desire in our group coaching program. We've been talking about the energetic representation of water as a healer, as in the healing properties of water. Water cleanses, washes, water hydrates, fuels. Water can be powerful, right? Water can destroy. Water can birth. We think about the waters of the womb. We think about water as calming and the presence of calm. And so there's lots of ways that we can envision the properties of water. And so I just wanted to offer that also as we're all thinking about the different ways to use this information, not to prescribe or to label ourselves, but really to use it to get curious about the possibility within us, the elemental possibility within us.
Just a quick follow-up from what you just said, Erin. The group coaching program that you're doing, is that ongoing?
We're about to wrap up this cohort.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
about to wrap up at the end of this month, or beginning of August is our last session.
Will there be a following cohort?
We will have information hopefully coming soon. So I'm gonna take a break because I need water to rest. And use that time to see when we will come back and how we'll come back. This has been such an incredible journey, and some of the folks in our cohort are on with us today or have been with us today. And so we'll definitely be sharing information coming soon. But I want to say, Patrice, a lot of what we're working with will, I think, continue to emerge in different Black Mama Body spaces. So there will this Black Mama Body spaces will always hold the opportunity for our remothering. So there's always going to be an element. By the way, I had a chart reading for a Black Mama Body, and she also has a lot of water. So she is also very very aligned to my chart. So she's a Taurus sun, a Cancer moon. A Cancer rising, and a Capricorn moon. So she is also supposed to be in the public holding space to nurture and care for and be the remother. And so that is becoming very clear, and that's been the transformative journey that has been birthing our programming. So it's been an emergent journey. So we will keep sharing information and keep connecting with community. So you will receive more info. Okay. Anything else coming up for y'all?
How do we connect with Christine?
Yes.
Oh.
Christine, can I drop your info in here or do you want to drop it in?
Oh yeah, you can if you have it, sure. So you can connect with me. I'm on most places at Zen Wellness Space. So on Instagram at Zen Wellness Space, YouTube at Zen Wellness Space. I do a lot of I'm on YouTube. I'm playing with human design oracle readings. I'm use the cards as a divination tool. So tarot cards, oracle cards, a bunch of those as a divination tool. And I also do, I love Notion as a Virgo moon. Notion is one of my tools that I use to really take a lot of this information and download it into a beautiful Notion document so that you can go back to later and that you can read. Notion is basically a platform that's like a web browser that stores a whole bunch of information and you can customize it. So if you're interested in getting either a human design or a natal chart for me, where I really, well, it's not really a natal chart reading. It's really just focusing on your big three, your sun, moon, and rising. Diving deep into what that means when it's vibing high, when it's vibing low. I'll give you some reflection questions based on the house and the signs of each of those. And so if you're looking for astrology work, that's kind of what I do there. And it's just a gateway and a portal. And as you're getting additional information, you can always just pop it into your Notion document. I'm excited for our integration session on Monday because we're going to be playing a little bit with the Notion document there and finding your chart and putting things in there and downloading information for that. So that's one way that you can connect with me. And yeah, I just have a bunch of soul love offerings on my website, so you could just check them out there. But the main places I hang are YouTube and Instagram.
Christine's, I want to say, her resources are incredible. I love going for her readings and being able to go back and watch them if I've missed them. I highly recommend you go to her YouTube channel. I put both her Instagram and her site here in the chat, so please go there and definitely follow because she has amazing things coming out all the time.
Yeah, and you'll like this, Erin. Somebody recently called me the Beyonce of Notion because the way that I can like really take that information and just like share it out. And I always give you way more than you came for and what you paid for. And so I channel that Virgo side of me to really use my Virgo Beyonce superpowers are
We did
within.
not come to play.
Don't not come to play when it comes.
Yes, I see you, Katie.
Hey, Katie, my Gemini sis.
Hi. Hold on. I'm trying to multitask here, and the boss is calling on one phone. I'm like, no.
I love
Per
it.
Gemini, you know.
Okay. Oh, I'll make sure she's off. Hold on. I don't think I answered it. Okay. Y'all. So, Sun Gemini, Moon Aries, Rising Sagittarius. North Node, that's what I was looking for, was my chart. North Node, Sagittarius. South Node, Gemini. Okay, I don't know what any of that means, but I can tell you what my challenges are and hoping that you can give me a little bit of insight. So I know I done studied all kinds of modalities. I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, I don't have no water and I'm not nurturing, but folks come to me.
I hear you.
Okay, I'm a lot of things. Patient, I'm not. Honest, I am. Understanding, I am. Intuitive, I can see it. I know it. I see it. You don't even have to tell me. You walk in and I'd be like, baby, you doing bad.
Brilliant, for sure.
Come here, give me a hug. You know, all I got for you is a hug because I can feel people and I can read them that way. But the nurturing, that I don't have no bosoms for them to come lay on. Those are not my assets. Like there's nothing, but they want to come anyway. Here's my problem, and what you say, Erin, resonates so much. Every time you say something, I'll be like, girl, me too. I know that is what I'm supposed to do. But every time it's almost like I have to have somebody in my back pushing me to do it. Like when people come to me, it's almost like they have to pull me out of my, like people literally show up on my screen porch. When I come home from work and I pull up and they are already sitting there, like, I don't care, because if I know if I called you, you're not going to answer your phone. So you're going to sit here and you're going to talk to me. So I'll be like, give me 15 minutes. I'll come in, I'll put on white, I'll cleanse myself, wrap my head up and go out there and talk to them. But had they called me on the phone, they're not lying. I wasn't going to answer. And I know it's a block. It's a block. And I know I'm being pulled, but I'm also being pulled the other way. And I'm pulling myself the other way. And I'm starting to understand some of it. Some of it, I've heard somebody characterize it as imposter syndrome, but I don't feel like it's necessarily imposter syndrome, because I know what I'm talking about. And I know that when I talk to people, it resonates with them. It's almost an inner not feeling whole. And just to put it in context, I have lupus. And with that comes a whole bunch of stuff. So like physically, sometimes I can't answer the phone because I know that if I show up for you, I won't have enough for me to get out of bed the next day. So I will shut it down. And what I feel like is, I know there are times that I have to do that, but then I also feel like it's an inherent fear that has kind of, like, if I give too much to my community, to those people who are coming to me, I won't have anything left. And I kind of know that I figured out how to manage it and how to live because I'm still here. But I've identified only recently that is kind of where my biggest barrier is. It's like I have a fire that's smoldering, but I keep the top kind of on it so that I don't lift it and give it oxygen to burn, because I'm fearing that I won't have enough kindling to keep it going. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It does. It does. Oh, thank you so much for sharing and honoring all that you shared. It's power. I know this very well. As a Gemini sun, my daughter is a Sagittarius sun. And so we have that Gemini Sagittarius access, which is a beautiful access, which I think is like the student teacher access. So really coming in, I don't remember your big three, but I do remember you saying your North Node and your South Node is Sagittarius and Gemini. So just knowing that, really coming in your direction to be the teacher, to be that wise sage, to be that philosopher. And, maybe shedding some of those, small little friendships and some of those small little acquaintances, and communicating all of that with, these little conversations, but really using that wisdom that you have to share bigger philosophies and higher education and some of the modalities that you mentioned. So just leaning into that. And I'm very curious on your Chiron placement, because that holds the key, I feel like, to a lot of what you shared. Chiron, if you look at the glyph of Chiron, it's a key, and it unlocks what you're wounding and unlocks that so that you can use that as your healing medicine, not only for you, but for the collective. So based on where that is and what house that's in, what sign that's in, what modality that's in, I feel like can unlock a lot for you. And I know we're almost on time here, but if you want to, you know where to reach me, girl. So if you want to share some additional information with me, your birth time, I can, give you I could give you some things, because you shared a lot, and it would be my pleasure to kind of help you navigate through that.
Yes. Ooh, and Katie, thank you. I wrote it in the chat, but you have such clarity, that metaphor. I mean, you're a brilliant, beautiful storyteller. I know why people are on your porch, and stories that are philosophical and have deep
Publish a book
and impact, right?
That's Sag in the North Node. It's like,
absolutely. And
got a book in there somewhere, maybe.
like I'm with, I hear that. I hear the book. I also am hearing protectors that have been with you, right? And, in our space here, we do talk a lot about pain portals. And for many of our bodies, we talk about the inflammation in our bodies that has emerged from generational wounding, intergenerational structural wounding, right? Surviving white body supremacy for generations, surviving racialized capitalism for generations has left an imprint. The disconnect from the natural world and from spirit has left an imprint. And so our immune systems have been finding ways to protect us similar to that no longer serve us, right? So we thought about our immune systems kind of like parts. That's this new thing I'm playing with, like how they're doing stuff that no longer protects us. So they're overactive. So we see the inflammation in our bodies that's saying, I have limited resources. I've been trying to, the immune system trying to put out a fire that's not there anymore, right? And so similarly, when I hear you saying, I'm trying to protect this energy, what I'm hearing from Christine is this beautiful invitation to see how you might be called higher to share your gifts in a way that doesn't deplete you. Because the wisdom that we all need is coming from you. We're hearing that. So I just wanted to reflect that back as something that I heard very loud and clear and like went all through my body. And love witnessing you in this, on this journey.
And being blunt too, because that's that Sagittarius energy. Like, you don't like, if they can't handle it, sorry, it might not be the right space for you, but they get to the truth, they're going to cut you deep, and get to the truth. That Sag energy, and it may not be what we're ready for, but it's what we need because they're so wise and they see and they have that ancient wisdom within them. So honoring that and just knowing if that's not, if they can't handle it, they're just not your people, maybe. I don't know.
Listen, come on with it. I want to thank all of you for joining us today, for your vulnerability, for your truth, for your beautiful questions. I want to thank my sister Christine. Oh, I'm just like buzzing right now. I just such excitement. We're going to keep going because as per usual, we know we have so much more that we could play with and lift up. So I hope that Christine will come back. I hope you all come back. And we're going to keep our conversation series going. You all, you do all have such incredible gifts that we can lift up in conversation in our community. So we want to keep this going too. I will make sure that we get the recording out to everyone who registered today. Actually, Ayana is going to make sure that happens because y'all know how I do. So we will be figuring out how we're going to get the recording out to the people who registered. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Please take good care of yourselves. In this new moon. I don't know, we didn't even talk about Venus retrograde. Oh my gosh, maybe we'll have to have a whole other conversation, Christine.
I'm more than happy to talk about that because it's
like
going to be a doozy. But don't be scared of any of these things. It's just an invitation to reflect on our relationship, reflect on our values, reflect on our brand. How are we rebranding ourselves during this time to show up, in that Aries North Node way, with the driven of who I am. So that's just the invitation that this Venus retrograde is giving us during this time. But we'll come back at another time and talk about it. But
right. All right. You all be well. It's so good to see
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye, bye, Lee. Bye, Patrice.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Stay
Good
safe,
to meet
everyone.
you all.
Bye, Shoba. Bye, Adrian. Bye, Katie. I'm hope to see you soon.
Everyone.
Oh.
Yes. Trying to see you. Yes. All right, y'all. Take good care. Drink lots of water.
Yes.
Much love.
Yay.
I'm going to stop this recording.